I want to talk more about kind of how it all starts out. First with, how the sun's rays come down and affect everything on this earth, including us and our skin.
Well, it's interesting you bring that up. So you say the sun's rays in the context of us discussing skin cancer. And what you're touching on is what are the causes, and ultimately, by knowing the causes, can we prevent the condition? So you're right, for skin cancer, the major modifiable risk factor that we are aware of is exposure to ultraviolet light from the sun, which is a known carcinogen. This causes cancer. That being said, there are other potential causes of skin cancer or other exposures, again, primarily to ultraviolet light, which is the radiation that is emitted obviously by the sun, but it can be by other sources. For example, welding equipment can emit ultraviolet light, and that's been studied and found to be a risk factor for the development of skin cancer. Exposure to ultraviolet light at altitude, such as in pilots, it seems to be associated with the development of skin cancer. So exposure to ultraviolet light, and the most common and modifiable form of that is sun exposure, seems to be the major risk factor for the development of skin cancer. When one is exposed to the ultraviolet light, this is in effect radiation, as is normal light. It's a form of radiation, and it's able to penetrate the upper surface of the skin, the upper layers, and then it interacts with the cells that make up one's skin. And in interacting with it, it interacts, among other things, with the DNA in the cells, and can damage the DNA. When the DNA is damaged, and the DNA control is essentially the control script, if you will, for the cells, when it's damaged, it works improperly and controls the cell inappropriately, and that can ultimately lead to what we term skin cancer. Now, cancer generally has three properties. One is the cells grow inappropriately and so can make a bump or a tumor. The second property that we associated with cancer is metastasis. Metastasis meaning change in position. And that's, in simple terms, when cancer spreads in the body. And the third property, one that many people don't think of, is instability. Instability in behavior. So cells that are cancerous do not remain stable and in one form for a long period of time, but they evolve over time and generally become more aggressive. They grow faster and have greater propensity to spread in the body or penetrate through structures in the body. So that's sort of a long-winded answer as to how ultraviolet light might ultimately lead to cancer in the skin.